Let's talk about Norway. You should be familiar with this flag because I am putting it up pretty regularly because Norway has been pretty much an example of what the electric car revolution should look like, which is actually ironic because they're up north there. It's pretty cold over there. The batteries don't perform very well. Charging doesn't perform very well in cold countries. Yet they've been and another funny thing is that actually their major export is oil. So they're exporting oil, but they're actually using a lot of that money to electrify themselves. And the sales of electric cars have been already absolutely amazing, just beating all countries around it. I believe last year they've started selling more electric cars altogether than gas and diesel cars, which again just blows my mind. But there's some new amazing numbers that are coming out there. We kind of expected this, but we didn't know how much the Model 3 sales are going to blow up this whole thing. So let me tell you about the numbers and the numbers of some other cars, Tesla and non-Tesla cars in Norway, as we now have all of these new numbers. All of this is coming up next. Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here and you're interested in staying up to date on everything that's going on in this exciting and cool universe of electric cars, all you have to do is smash that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward, but most importantly, become a part of this amazing community. All right, let's talk about Norway. And as we know, Model 3 has started being delivered there. And mind you, this is not even like... we have not heard the real numbers yet in terms of once the base model is going to be sold there. These are all the expensive models being sold there, and they just blew up all of those numbers. So let me tell you. Let me tell you about the numbers with the Model 3 for March, for the month that just ended. So 58% of all cars sold in Norway last month were electric cars, and I don't mean like electric including plug-in hybrids. I mean like all electric. And I believe Model 3 was responsible for half of those numbers. Now, if you want to add the plug-in hybrids, not including hybrids, just the plug-in hybrids to that, now we're talking about 69% altogether. Now, that's a record. The record that they said previously was 61% back in September of 2018. And, you know, just in case if you didn't know, Norway is planning and hoping to have all of their cars that are sold being electric, you know, all electric and plug-in hybrids by 2025. And to be honest with you, I'm no longer like it's definitely could be happening. And as you know, they've been pretty aggressive with sort of promoting electric cars, but at the same time, with all of the incentives that they had, I still don't see that they would be doing something that drastically different. If you guys live in Norway, let me know if you feel like that your government is doing something so much more than you see being done outside of Norway, in Europe and China and in the US and Canada and so forth. I mean, China has been really aggressive trying to promote electric cars and electric car manufacturers there. They're actually cutting their incentive by half and drastically increasing, I'm talking about China right now, drastically increasing the minimum range of the cars that will even qualify for that cut in half incentives there. But Norway has just continually been kicking everyone's butt. And again, this is absolutely, I cannot put my finger on what it is. I mean, someone's got to be winning, but these guys are winning by a lot. Now let's talk about non-Model 3 cars because there's some surprises there, including Tesla cars. So let me tell you about that. Before that, I just want to remind you that this video and this channel is sponsored by Byton. Check out the Byton M-Buy, the all-electric SUV coming to the US and Europe next year, starting as low as $45,000 before all those incentives we just talked about. I'm a reservation holder myself. I think you should be as well. It's actually no cost to make a reservation on our website. Get that link from the description of this video and reserve your Byton today for free. Okay, so let's talk about the second place there after Model 3, and it still belongs to Volkswagen e-Golf, and it's like 1/5. It's literally like just Model 3 just destroyed all the other sales. Now, interestingly, I-Pace have sold 442 units there. Let me remind you, in the United States in February, they only sold like 200, and that number actually went down. So I-Pace is being sold at higher numbers in Norway, the tiny little country, than in the United States, which still baffles me. But here's what baffles me the most. You will never guess how many Tesla Model S cars they've sold. Only 166. So they sold like, I think about 5,000 Model 3s and like 1,000 e-Golfs. But the Model S, been only sold at this small numbers. Now, I'm going to assume it's because everybody who just wanted a Tesla jumped on the Model 3, and they're not that cheap, right? I mean, they're selling the performance versions and just, much higher price versions. So this is not, technically should be out of reach even to those people who are jumping in those cars. But man, I don't know. This is surprising. This is definitely surprising. Let me know what you guys think. And right now, let's talk about positives and negatives. The positive is obviously the fact that we have a country that, despite all of the things that are going against them, is actually showing the way of how it should be done. The numbers are going up and up and up. I still cannot believe it's how 58% of all sales, all electric cars. Like that's, guys, that is insane. You understand the global sales of all electric cars are like less than 2%, really even closer to 1%, depending on how you calculate it. And these guys are just absolutely running away from them. So this is great. This is a great sort of model for everybody to kind of line up behind. So we got to dissect what it is that they're doing, what are the people are thinking there, for them to be able to do this. Now, it's hard to come up with any negatives, I have to say. The only negatives is the other countries are not doing it, right? Like as soon as you know this is possible, now you're thinking like, wait a second, how come we're not selling any of these cars? Like I'm here in Sacramento, right? This is the capital of California. Tons and tons and tons of money goes from the government, and all of these incentives goes into the green energy. But I'm driving around here, guys, and I'm not seeing that many electric cars at all, or charging stations besides the Tesla superchargers where I go and film my videos. So like we're definitely not like we're making a lot of sort of efforts, but we're not selling this car. So like kind of the positives of the story is also reminding me, or negatives, that we're really not that not kicking that much butt, because I lived in the Bay Area for a while, for a long time, right? So a lot of Teslas over there. Here, I'm not even seeing like Nissan Leafs here or Chevy Bolts in large numbers either. So something's wrong, and we got to figure out what it is that this country is doing right, and hopefully try to copy that. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think we should do? What do you think is missing from wherever you live, whether it's US, Canada, or some other European countries, that we're just not able to get people buy these damn things? Okay, by the way, let me quickly thank one of my newer Patreons, Jim. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community, the only place where you can watch me live. Thank you to all of my Patreons for supporting and contributing to this independent channel. If you want to become a part of my Patreon community, I would really appreciate it. All you have to do is browse to patreon.com/E4Electric. That link is also in the description of this video. So thank you so much for supporting me and my efforts. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.